Hi guys, how are you? How everything is going on with you? Today we are gonna see physics of grade 12, unit 2, motion in two dimensions. Focus on equations of a projectile motion. Projectile is any object that runs through the air without any motive forces or engine forces. So projectile motion is divided into two. The first one is horizontal projectile motion and the second one is inclined projectile motion. So horizontal projectile motion is also divided into two. Horizontal projectile motion divided into two. The first one is motion in the horizontal direction and the second one is motion in the vertical direction. So when we see motion in the horizontal direction, initial horizontal velocity which is equals to final horizontal velocity which is equals to constant, and the acceleration of motion in the horizontal direction is equals to 0, and change in x which is known as range of a projectile in the horizontal direction becomes v naught x. So when we come in motion in the vertical direction, initial vertical velocity which is equals to 0 and final vertical velocity which is equals to initial vertical velocity plus gt. However, initial vertical velocity in motion in the vertical direction becomes 0, and then initial final vertical velocity which is equals to gt, which is gravitational acceleration force times time. And then change in y which is also known as vertical displacement in the vertical direction which is equals to known as height of the projectile motion, which is equals to given by the formula initial vertical velocity times time plus 1 over 2 gt square. Initial vertical velocity becomes 0 times time 0, and we left 1 over 2 gt square. For both motions we should have to find the time of flight from height or vertical displacement of a projectile motion. So change in h which is distance or vertical displacement in the vertical direction which is equals to 1 over 2 gt square. When we recross it to h which is equals to 1 over or gt square over g cancelled by g which is equals to time of flight becomes what? 2h divided by g. Then we put both of them in radical, then to cancel the radical, then it becomes square root of 2h divided by g. When we come into inclined projectile motion is also known as motion at an angle. So in inclined projectile motion we should have to focus on these three basic components of inclined projectile motion. The first one is time of flight, the second one is range of a projectile motion, and the third one is maximum height of a projectile motion. So in order to find the time of flight, we should have to find vertical component and horizontal component. So initial horizontal velocity which is equals to v naught cos theta. This means v naught x which is equals to vx, which means final horizontal velocity which is equals to constant, and final or initial vertical velocity which is equals to v naught sin theta, and then which is equals to v naught y plus gt, and then v naught y means the v naught sin theta plus gt, and then we can find time of flight from these equations. Height which is equals to initial vertical velocity times time plus 1 over 2 gt square. Height which is equals to initial vertical velocity means v naught sin theta times time plus minus 1 over 2 gt square. Then at maximum height or when the launching point of a projectile motion and the turning point of a projectile motion is on the same horizontal level, horizontal or vertical displacement becomes 0, and then 1 over 2 gt square becomes turned into these sides. Then when we write 1 over 2 gt square which is equals to v naught sin theta, and then t cancelled by square. When we cross multiply it, gt which is equals to 2v naught sin theta, then divided by g cancelled by g. Time of flight which is equals to 2v naught sin theta divided by g. We use time of flight for a projectile motion. On an inclined projectile motion we use these equations.